You're welcome.
Now to my political panel. Zerlina Maxwell is an MSNBC political analyst and former director of progressive media for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. And Hugh Hewitt is also an MSNBC political analyst and host of the Hugh Hewitt Show on the Salem Radio Network. Zerlina, how do we deal in a substantive, concrete way with the disparities in health care based on race in this country in the middle of the pandemic so that we come out having, in many ways, better in terms of equalizing health care as we take care of the American populace?
One of the things that comes to mind as we go through this crisis is that the results are not surprising. And it reminds me of something that Representative Ayanna Pressley says all the time, which is the people closest to the pain need to be the closest to the power. And in this critical moment, in this particular crisis, all the factors, lack of adequate health care, lack of adequate housing, a livable wage that allows people to have a safety net if a crisis like this should come up, those are all issues that representatives like Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Elizabeth Warren, and others have pushed to the forefront, not just in terms of ideas in a political campaign, but concrete pieces of legislation that they are still continuing to push through the Senate and the House, because people need real support. They need actual cash in hand to pay the rent, to buy food for their family members, to buy medications that they may need on a regular basis. All of these structural issues in the long term need to be dealt with. But in the short term, thank God we have people in the Congress post-2018 that understand that these issues, while pervasive, need to be addressed right now. We cannot wait because people are suffering in this current moment.
You, as we are all dealing in this country with an unbelievable atrocity, how do we rise above partisan politics and find common ground? What, in your judgment, is the common ground area that we can deal with these disparities as we deal with trying to bring this country through this pandemic?
I think it's a unique moment, Al. I saw Josh Hawley call for 80% of make good money, basically federal business interruption insurance for everybody, which I think would be a fine idea for the Congress to embrace. But something I heard earlier on the show, which I think is important to emphasize, is that these disparities are pre-existing long before President Trump, before President Obama. They go back a long time in the United States, especially among communities of color. And it is particularly incumbent, as Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx and Dr. Adams have all said repeatedly in the briefings, which I wish were carried every minute, because sometimes it pops up suddenly and it's not on everyone's screen. It's incumbent on every American to identify the people around them who are most vulnerable, those with comorbidities like diabetes, obesity, heart disease, any sort of illnesses that we see overrepresented in the African American community, for example, and take special precautions that they not be exposed, to take special precautions that they don't go out, to be a real pain in the neck for your grandparents and your mom and your dad if you're the right age. I thought that's the most important message. As to the politics of it, I don't think it's a political issue. This is a crisis that we've never dealt with, at least in our lifetime, not since 1918 to 1920 in that pandemic. And so I'm looking for everyone to look past politics and to look to the common solutions. And I think, for example, Senator Hawley's is a very, very, very good idea. 80% of everybody's wage made good immediately, no questions asked. Not a conservative position, a necessary position.
Zerlina, it is not a political pandemic, and certainly we should rise above politics to deal with it. But it has been a political situation that has led to the continual disparities between how people get health care in this country, or for that matter, stimulus money in this country, even long before this administration or President Obama's administration, as you has said. So we're going to have a political solution to some of these things and not try to get it weighed down with petty politics.
Well, it's more of a legislative solution. There are actual policy proposals that are going through the Congress right now that are being debated that would help people today. If you were going to tackle an issue like student loan debt, putting a hold on student loan debt for millions of American millennials and Generation Zs, those folks that need that relief currently, that's one political solution, but it's really a policy solution. And so there are often times when those things intersect, and it is a matter of politics because you need the political will to push those things through the Congress. And too often we kowtow to the powerful, and it seems like we always have money for bailouts and tax cuts, but we never have money when a crisis occurs and the people who are working, the people who cannot go to work on a Zoom meeting because they're a bus driver and they're making, working class wages, those people that need to continue to go to work, those are essential workers, and those are the people that our government, which is tasked through our Constitution with protecting our people and taking care of Americans, those are the folks that the politicians need to keep at the forefront of their mind as we go through this crisis, which is still very much unfolding as we sit here.
Oh, we're not even at the peak yet in many places. Let me ask you, how do you grade how the president and this administration is handling this? Do you think they've handled it well? Do you think that, as some are saying, even on the right, that the president should stop the daily briefings with him starring in them and let the experts handle this and put the facts out?
Oh, absolutely not. I love the daily briefings. I want them to continue. I want every network to carry every minute of them. And I want people to remind themselves when they see that there is no daily briefing in the People's Republic of China. There is no free press where Yamiche Alcindor or a Jim Acosta can challenge, or our own Christian Welker or one of our people on MSNBC, where they can challenge the most powerful people in the world. Moreover, the information is vital. Moreover, the audiences are huge. I think the president is doing a good job with an absolutely unprecedented situation. I blame the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. President Xi held this back. The world. If we look beyond the American lens, Al, I was just reading a story from the Daily Beast about Ecuador. In the largest city in Ecuador, it's actually devastating. Hundreds of bodies are in the streets in the largest city of Ecuador. The Afro-Ecuadorian population, for example, is particularly devastated. This is a worldwide pandemic brought about by the People's Republic of China's Communist China Party, CCP.
But most of the people diagnosed in New York, they were infected by people coming from Europe. So, I mean,
yes,
it may have started somewhere in China, but it's different places that has contributed to where we are. And just blaming China and calling it a Chinese disease and attacking Yamiche Alcindor is not solving the problem.
I think Yamiche is a great reporter. I'm not attacking her. I think it's great that she challenges the president. What I'm saying is, it's an international pandemic caused by the secrecy of the Chinese Communist Party, and we should not put forward their propaganda that has got anything to do with Europe or us. It's the CCP and President Xi.
Well, I think that I was not talking about you attacking Yamiche. I was talking about the president attacking her. But I'll have to leave it there. Zerlina Maxwell and Hugh Hewitt, thank you for being with us. Coming up, how the coronavirus